Bernice, what I'll do is at the end of each section, at the end of each sort of section that I cover, I'll pause and I'll ask if there's any questions, and at that point, please feel free to ask a question. Or you also, Eric, you can ask a question. And then we'll move on. Okay? Well, hello and welcome to our training session for the new library website. It's called the Library Tree. TREE stands for Theological Research Electronic Expressway. And this is our new library website and our research portal where you can do hopefully 80 to 90% of the research that you'll need to do for your coursework here or elsewhere. Now you can access this website by going to the RPTS website. That's www.rpts.edu. And you can go under academics and then click on library, and it will redirect you to this site, or you can go directly to this site by typing into your web browser www.rptslibrary.org. That's www.rptslibrary.org. And when you go to that site, you'll find this page. You'll see at the very top a pretty picture of some old books that are up in our rare books room. And then as you scroll down, you will see this series of drop-down menus. You see Home, Find a Resource, Free Resources, Reciprocal Libraries, Forms, and Help. And below that, you see our emblem for TREE Theological Research Electronic Expressway. And below that, we have a little information about our library. At the very bottom, you'll see the emblem to like us on Facebook, and you also see our hours of operation as well as our phone number. Now at the very top of the page again, and when we're looking at the menu, the drop-down menus, the first thing I want to point out is at any point you're on the website, if you want to go back to the home page, all you have to do is scroll up and click Home. It will always redirect you back to the home page for this site. So say you're doing a research paper, you're working on a research paper, and you need to find a resource. And so maybe the first type of resource that you want to look for is a book. Well, what you can do is, first you're going to want to go to our new library catalog. And you can do that by either clicking on this blue box here that says click here for RPTS Online Catalog, or that can also be found under the drop-down menu that says Find a Resource. You'll see here, Library Catalog. So let's go ahead and go there and take a look at our new library catalog. As you can see here, it's new and improved. The old catalog, as you might remember, was white and yellow and outdated. It didn't have very many features, this new catalog. The first thing you'll notice is the beautiful image here of various book covers. These are all books that have recently been added to our library catalog. So if you're ever wondering, what books the library has recently added to the catalog, you can always come here and you can see books that have been added within the last 3 months. So here we see Holiness by J.C. Ryle was added. Revelation, 4 Views. Christ and the Sabbath by Rich Robinson. So these are all some books that have been added in the last 3 months. So say you want to look for a book. Here you'll find a search. Now this is what's called a Boolean search. And so it's a smart search. It's very similar to Google. So you no longer have to put the last name first and then a comma in the first name. You can simply type in someone like Thomas Watson. You don't have to type Watson, comma, Thomas. Now, it doesn't matter how you do the search will be able to find works by them. So let's go ahead and do a search for Thomas Watson. Now as you can see, it automatically pulls up all books either written by, or about Thomas Watson. Now again, this is a Boolean search. It works similar to Google. So it's going to automatically search by relevance. So the search will find books that it thinks are most relevant to what we might be looking for. Now, books by certain authors could be somewhat tedious in trying to find particular items. So In that case, you might want to search by title or by author, and to do that, you just simply click on this drop-down menu, and you can change. You could search by books that have been recently added to the catalog, or you can search by author. So let's search by author. And what it does is it lumps them all together. So for example, all of the books by Thomas Watson will be placed together. You can also do what's called an advanced search, where you click on the advanced search and you can search by author, you can search by title, you can search by series or subject, or by the local call number. You can use all of these features to search for a book by a particular person or about a particular subject. Another interesting feature that the catalog now has is voice entry. So if you have a microphone on your computer or on your tablet or mobile device, you can simply click on this microphone button and you can speak and tell the search what you're looking for. And then it will search for that item. At the top of the page, you will notice that there are a series of links. So you see RPTS homepage, that will take you back to the seminary webpage. You'll find the library homepage, that'll take you back to the library tree site. If you click here, it'll take you to Reformed Presbyterian Archives. That is an agency within the Reformed Presbyterian Church of North America. It's the various old synod minutes and presbytery archives and so forth. Here we also have a copy of the library handbook. If you're to click here on the library handbook, it will open up a PDF version. Most questions that you might have about our library could be answered within the handbook, and you can do a simple search to find those. You can either look at the table of contents, or if you're looking maybe for a particular word, you can do a search on PCs. You can press Control F, and it'll bring up a box where you can type a word to search for. On Macs, I believe it's Command F, and then you can simply type in a particular word. So let's go back to the library catalog here. You'll see here, you see a login screen. So some of you might remember from the old catalog that we had a feature where you could renew books online. So if you're at home and you find out that your book is due tomorrow and you want to renew it if you're not going to be coming in, you can simply log in. So at the top of the catalog screen, you'll click on the login button. And what you'll do is you'll take your library card, and for current seminary students, it's your student ID. You'll take that, and it's the number directly below the barcode. So it's not your ID number, but rather it's the number below the barcode. For patrons that are non-students, you have a library card that's been issued to you by the RPTS library, and it will be the number below that barcode. So let's show you a bit about how this looks like, what this looks like. So I'm going to look at the number below the barcode on my ID card, and I'm going to type that in. And the PIN, or the PIN for your library account, is the last 4 digits of your library card number. So it's the last 4 digits of that barcode that you've already typed in. Okay, so now I'm logged in. I'm logged into my library account. And I want to take a look at what books I may have out. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to click on Jordan's account. Now for you, it would be whatever your first name is. So Nathan or Eric, you'd click on that. Now here you'll see that it has your contact information and it has your library card number. For current students of the seminary, you're not permitted to change your email address to anything other than an RPTS email address, but for non-student patrons, so for graduates or for local pastors or for other patrons, we ask that you keep this email address updated, because with the new system, whenever you check books out from now on, you will receive that receipt with your due date through your email instead of it being printed out. In addition to that, you'll also receive email notifications when the book is due. So we do ask that this email address is kept up to date. Another little feature that would be of interest to some of you is this feature called Easy Login. So if you click on that, you can actually create a unique username that you would be able to remember and a unique password. And then next time you go to log in, you won't need to type in your library card number. You can just type in a username. So for example, a username that I often use is jfegley. So I could create jfegley as the username and then use a password that I'm able to remember. And then next time I log in, I won't need that password. So let's take a look at my account activity. I'll click on that. So currently I have two books checked out. Neither of them are overdue. As you can see, I have a lot of days left before those books are due. It's because I'm a staff member. For students, they only have they have a much shorter period of time. So say you come in here and you see that your book is due in 2 days, and so you want to go ahead and renew it. Well, you have two options. You can renew a book individually, or you can renew all of them at once. If you want to renew one book, you would simply take your mouse and scroll up and click Renew Loan, and it would be renewed. Or if you want to renew all the books that are in your list, you would come up here and click this checkbox, and then you would click Renew, and it would renew all of them. So once you're logged in, there are a number of features that are available to you. Say I'm searching for, we'll use Thomas Watson again. Say I'm searching for a work by Thomas Watson. And say that this book here, The Duty of Self-Denial and 10 Other Sermons by Thomas Watson, say that's a book that I really want, and I'm concerned that someone else might check it out before I have a chance to come in. I can actually place that item on hold by clicking here. And I can select that I want the first copy available, or I can say the seminary has 5 different editions. I can actually click, I want a specific copy, and then if there were 5 editions listed here, I could select a specific one. And in that case, a staff member in the library would be notified, and they would actually be able to pull that book for you and check it out and have it available to you. You can actually also create lists. So say Dr. Gamble has a research paper that you're going to be writing for this course, for a course that you're taking. And maybe there's 6 different books that you'd like to read. You could actually create a list by clicking Add to List, and then you're going to create a new list. And maybe you could write something like Dr. Gamble books, or systematic theology books. And then you could actually go on to the catalog and find 6 different books and add it to that list. It's sort of like a wish list. Or maybe you could create a list, 10 books that I would like to read while I'm at RPTS. And it's sort of like a wish list, and then you can go back to it over time, and if you have some spare time, maybe in a summer or over a break, you can check out one of those books, and then you can remove it from the list. There are a lot of different options that we have here in this new catalog. There's also a feature that we haven't used yet, but we're planning to in the next couple of months. It's something called an e-book shelf. And so we're going to begin purchasing ebooks and adding them to the ebook shelf, which would mean perhaps maybe we would purchase an ebook version of Thomas Watson's The Duty of Self-Denial. And so that ebook would be cataloged and it would be listed with this book. And so Nathan, say you're looking for this particular book, and maybe you're visiting your family in Indiana. And so you click on this book and you're thinking that you'll check it out when you come back, but then you realize that there's an ebook version. You can actually check that ebook out and read it on your laptop or on your mobile device. So I think I've covered the majority of the types of things that you can do on the current catalog. So I want to take a moment now and ask if there are any questions, questions for clarification, or any questions that I maybe haven't addressed in the presentation thus far. No?
Oh, well, yeah, Moodle, when will this be available on Moodle?
The catalog?
No, your presentation.
The presentation. This presentation, I'm hoping within the week. I can't give you a specific date because I'm not overseeing Moodle or the video recording, but I'm hoping that this will be available hopefully within a week or so. And this video should also be available on the library website as well.
kind of thing.
Well, if there aren't any other questions about the catalog itself, let's go ahead and go back to the library tree webpage. Okay, so now we're back to the library tree. And if you remember, as I showed you earlier, there are a series of drop-down menus. And on the right, you'll see that here is another option for getting to the online catalog. But below it, you'll also notice that there's a button to access WorldCat and EBSCOhost. These can also be found under Find a Resource. So EBSCOhost and WorldCat, they are online databases that we subscribe to. And what I'm about to explain to you is very important that you pay careful attention to and are very diligent to follow instructions on this. We have a contract with EBSCOhost and with WorldCat, and as part of that contract agreement that we have, only current students are permitted to access these sites from their personal computers, so from a computer that's not a library computer. The two computers that are in the library for student use, anybody that comes into the library is permitted to access EBSCOhost and WorldCat on those two computers. But it's very important that our students don't give away the password to EBSCOhost or WorldCat. We could actually lose the rights to these resources, or we could be forced to pay steep fines. So it's very important that we only give access to students for home use.
Excuse me, was that password that was on the information that came out, or is it?
Yeah, there was a password that was sent out through email.
Right.
And if you'd like that password, again, I'd be happy to give it to you after the presentation. I can't announce that during the video.
Okay.
But WorldCat is essentially a library catalog. It's essentially a worldwide version of similar to like our library catalog. So say that there's a book that you'd like to check out, and you know that our library doesn't carry it. You might go to WorldCat and search for it. WorldCat will actually tell you the closest library to your geographic location that offers that book. So let's go to WorldCat. So what you'll do is you'll click here on WorldCat Discovery Services, and it's going to pop up, and it's going to ask you for a password, because this is a protected page. And again, this is a password that we only give out to current students. So I'm going to type that password in. And then it's going to bring you to the WorldCat Discovery Services page, and it's going to notify you that by clicking the link, you're leaving the RPTS library website. So we're going to click on it, and it will actually take us to WorldCat. So let's say I'm looking for a particular book. How about the 5 Points of Calvinism? Now it will tell me the closest library that carries it. Let's see here. So here's the book I'm looking for. Let's click on it. Well, there we are. Actually, our library carries this one. But it's also going to show other libraries that carry it as well. And if you are looking for a particular book that we don't carry, you can always request that from us through Interlibrary loan, and we can get that book for you. So that's how you access WorldCat. Now let's go back to the library site. And we'll take a look here at EBSCOhost. EBSCOhost is different than WorldCat in that EBSCOhost is specifically focusing on periodicals. So if you're looking for periodical articles or magazine articles on particular subjects, EBSCOhost would be your place to go to. So you click on EBSCOhost. Now I've already typed the password in once, so I don't need to type it in again, but ordinarily if you were just going into EBSCOhost for the first time, you would need to type that password in again. So we'll click on EBSCOhost, and it'll take you here where you can select which database you want to use. I often think it's helpful to use both. Then you click Continue, and then you can search for articles on any topic. So let's say you're doing a paper on, give me a topic, Nathan.
Theonomy.
Theonomy. Well, here you see you have 73 different articles on theonomy. So EBSCOhost is a good resource for looking for periodicals. All right, back to the library tree website. So under Find a Resource, we have, again, we've already looked at the library catalog. We've looked at EBSCOhost and WorldCat. But we also offer links to a variety of online periodicals. So if you go down the drop-down menu and hover your mouse over online periodicals, you'll see 5 online periodicals listed, and then below that there's a link for more. The 5 that are listed here are probably some of the best academic periodicals that we have access to online. Of course, we have the Reformed Presbyterian Theological Journal. That's our seminary's journal. We have the Protestant Reformed Theological Journal. We have Themelios. We have Vox Reformata and the Westminster Theological Journal. Every one of these online periodicals that are listed on the library website are periodicals that our students and patrons have access to, where they can actually view articles online for free. Let's go ahead and click more. You'll notice here that there are a ton of academic journals here, in addition to the ones that were already listed earlier. But then we also have listed a variety of Christian magazines and periodicals. So these are good Christian periodicals. They're not necessarily academic resources, but other types of online periodicals. We have First Things, the Reformed Herald, which is the RCUS periodical. And so these are also available to students. Let's go back up to Find a Resource. You'll see here we have selected blogs. And we say selected blogs because we know that there are a lot of really good blogs out there that are of great help to students. These are certainly not all of them, but they are some that are helpful. We have General Reformation. That's actually Barry York, our Dean of Faculty. It's his blog. We have Doctrine for Life. That's Joel Beakey's blog. We have Challies.com, Head, Heart, Hand, and the Aquila Report. And if you click more, it'll bring up more selected blogs as well. And I just want to point out here that we try to be a library that has a variety of resources for students, both Orthodox and non-Orthodox resources. It's important that students have access to a variety of resources so they can learn about other churches and denominations. And so, though these are very good blogs that have some very good resources, the Reformed Presbyterian Seminary, Theological Seminary, does not necessarily endorse every article that comes out of these blogs. We have here under Find a Resource access to the 18th century Torah scroll, information about it. That's the scroll of the seminary received last year. We have an article written by Mark Sampson about this scroll and some information about how to be able to view it. Now, something that many of you will find very helpful is the free resource section. These are resources that are openly free to anybody that wants to use them. They're very good. Again, we have RP Archives, the Reformed Presbyterian Archives. We have Christian Classics Ethereal Library, CCEL. This is a really good resource. I've used it a lot. There are hundreds of open source sermons and commentaries written by a lot of guys like Calvin and Luther. There's a lot of Spurgeon sermons on there as well. I know that CCEL has all of Calvin's commentaries. They have a whole host of things, and it's all free. Encourage anybody to use it that would like to. We have Library of Congress, Westminster Assembly Project. Westminster Assembly Project, they work hard to not just provide the Westminster standards, but also provide the minutes from the meetings as well, so we can have an idea of the background. Barber Library Archives, and then if you click more, you'll notice we have a ton of resources here, and they're all broken down by category. We have African and African American church history resources. We have Bible manuscripts. We have biblical studies resources, bibliographies. We have catechisms and confessions. Here we have church history resources. We have digitized manuscripts. There's several encyclopedias. There's online journals and indexes. These are all online, free online books that have been digitized or scanned into the computer so that you can access them for free. Religious data sites that deal with various statistics that you can access if you need statistics about different things. Research and writing resources, as well as sermons. And again, I'll say about these resources what I said about the periodicals. We want to be a library that has a plethora of resources, and so just because a resource is here does not mean that we necessarily endorse what it teaches, but it is of value for student use. So these are all the free resources. RPTS is also part of a program with several reciprocal libraries, so we have a relationship with the Barber Library of Pittsburgh Theological Seminary. We have a relationship with McCartney Library at Geneva. We also have a relationship with Trinity School for Ministry with their library. And so as a student of RPTS, you're able to get library cards from all three of those libraries for free. And you can go and access their libraries. Barber Library is incredibly helpful. They have a ton of resources, both online and on site. And well, actually, let's take a little stop here for a second. I want to ask if there are any questions about what I've gone over so far. Any questions?
No.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, it isn't often that you'll need to fill out a form for a library, but if you do, those forms can be found here on the library website. You'll see here under the Forms section. If you want to get something through Interlibrary Loan, you'll need to fill out a form. So you'll come here to Forms and then click on Interlibrary Loan, and then you can scroll down here. It has instructions. So if you fail to find something in our collection, you are able to first check Barber Library and then Trinity School for Ministry to see if they have it, and if they don't, then you are permitted to fill out an interlibrary loan request. Now, you can fill out a book request or a periodical request, and both of those forms are here. So what you would do is you'd click on the button, and it will open up the PDF, which you can print out, and then you'd fill it out, and then you'd give it to a member of the library staff. Same with the periodical form here. You'd simply click on it and print it out, and then you would fill it out and give it to a member of the library staff. If you're someone who's watching that is not a patron of our library, that isn't a student, but you'd like to become a patron, you can also click here, and it will open up an application to become a patron, and you can actually fill this one out online and submit it, and then it will be emailed to me, where I'll process it and we can get you a library card. Now, some of you from time to time may have a question of the library, and the library staff is always able and willing to help you in any way we can, but sometimes it might be that you're at home and your question might not be one that you necessarily need to ask a member of the library staff. So if you go to the library website and you hover your mouse above Help, you'll see that we have an FAQ, a frequently asked questions section. Now, this section isn't complete yet, but we plan to have at least 10 of our most commonly asked questions here with their responses. And if you can't find your question and answer here, you can always go again to the library handbook. Remember, the library handbook is available on the catalog, but it's also available here on the library tree. So if you click here on the library handbook again, it'll open that up, and you can try to find the answer to your question. But if all else fails, if you're at home and you have a question and you've looked at if you've looked at the FAQs, and if you've looked at the handbook and you still can't quite find the answer to your question, you can always hover above Help, and you can click Ask a Librarian, where it will bring up this page where you can simply fill it out with your name, email address, and your status, whether you're a student, whether you're faculty or staff, whether you're an alumnus, and you can ask your question here and submit it, and it will be emailed to us where we can where we can respond to you. But again, we're available typically every day from 8 o'clock to 4:30. You can always call us or ask us in person as well. We'd be glad to assist you whenever possible. Well, I think we've covered mostly everything involved in the new library website. Are there any questions about things that I haven't covered, or any questions about something that I did cover that maybe wasn't super clear? Yes?
So I'm sitting at my home, and I want to put the book on hold.
Yes.
And I check that. So where would I find that book at when I actually came here? Where would I get that book at?
Okay, so the question that's been asked is if a book was placed on, so if someone's at home and they want to place a book on hold, where would they find that book when they come in? Well, what you would do is when you come in, you'd go and talk to a librarian, and it might be that they've already pulled the book for you. So you come talk to me, or you talk to Professor Reed, or to Mrs. Reed. At that point, we may have already pulled the book, and we may have it out for you and ready. It might be that we haven't had a chance to pull it from the shelf yet, so at that point we could simply go and get the book, and then you could check it out. But the thing that's great about the hold system is that, so say you've placed a book on hold, and then Nathan goes and tries to check that book out. It actually won't let him check the book out because you've placed it on hold. But the book's only on hold for so long, for a few days. So, so say you place a book on hold and then decide you're not going to get it, but you forget to take it off hold. Within a couple of days, it'll be available for Nathan to check out again.
Even though that I physically have the book.
No. If you've placed the book on hold,
Okay.
but you've decided you don't want it, and you have not come in to get the book.
Okay.
Within a couple of days, it's automatically taken off hold so that Nathan can then get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, no problem. Are there any other questions? All right, well, thank you for attending this training session. If you have any questions in the future, please don't hesitate to ask me in person or by email. The library staff can always be reached by phone or by emailing library@rpts.edu. Thank you.
Thank you.